She's getting blasted by black people all over the internet for supporting Caitlin Clark making the All-Star game. How ridiculous is that? You got these people blasting her online, talking about, oh, you're not black no more. Your black card is revoked. You're no longer invited to the cookout. All of this stuff because she supported a teammate making the All-Star team.
The scenario is absolute insanity. An elite athlete, a woman who has bled and sweated on the hardwood for her entire life, is suddenly having her cultural identity tried in the court of public opinion. And for what crime? For supporting a teammate. This is the bizarre and hostile world that Raven Johnson, the South Carolina Gamecocks standout, now finds herself in. The moment Raven Johnson showed public solidarity with Caitlin Clark, a storm of vitriol erupted, and the internet mob decided that Raven Johnson's black card was officially revoked. This isn't just fandom, it's a cultural crucifixion. Raven Johnson gave a simple, heartfelt message to Caitlin Clark, celebrating her fellow competitor's achievement. But to the vicious gatekeepers online, that display of unity by Raven Johnson was an unforgivable sin. They've accused Raven Johnson of betraying her race, demanding she be silent, demanding she ostracize Caitlin Clark. But what does that say about the state of modern sports, where respecting a rival like Caitlin Clark makes a black woman like Raven Johnson a pariah? It's a mob mentality that highlights a deep-seated insecurity, a desperate need to weaponize identity politics against players like Raven Johnson simply for acknowledging the greatness of a player like Caitlin Clark. This is a story about how the fear of Caitlin Clark's dominance is manifesting into a toxic hatred aimed directly at anyone, even a peer like Raven Johnson, who dares to show her respect. We're diving into the disturbing backlash against Raven Johnson, the impossible position of Caitlin Clark, and a league caught in a firestorm of its own making.
Some of y'all giving real racist vibes. Y'all are blasting Raven Johnson for supporting one of her teammates who made the All-Star game. It's ridiculous, man. Let's not waste time. Let's get right into it. This is Raven Johnson supporting her teammates online. Take a look, man.
Caitlin Clark, my sister, my cousin, my auntie, my mamacita, my friend. Caitlin Clark.
This clip lays bare the hypocrisy. The same people attacking Raven Johnson for supporting Caitlin Clark are the ones who claim to despise racism. But what is this if not a form of segregation? To dictate that Raven Johnson cannot publicly support Caitlin Clark because of her skin color is the very definition of hateful division. Raven Johnson is being punished for integration, for acknowledging that Caitlin Clark is a worthy peer. It reveals a dark underbelly of the WNBA discourse, where the success and acclaim of Caitlin Clark is seen as a threat, and any black player like Raven Johnson who doesn't treat Caitlin Clark as an enemy is deemed a traitor. This is the long-term strategic consequence, a chilling effect on genuine camaraderie. Players like Raven Johnson will now think twice before offering simple, kind words to Caitlin Clark for fear of being doxxed or publicly shamed. The environment is being poisoned, turning the league into a war zone of identity politics rather than a showcase of athletic excellence. Raven Johnson and Caitlin Clark could have been an example of mutual respect, but the toxic fanbase is ensuring that any interaction between Raven Johnson and Caitlin Clark is seen through a lens of betrayal. Let's investigate the player's psychology here. For Raven Johnson, this is psychological warfare. She's a young player, still building her legacy. Suddenly, her loyalty and worth are being questioned over a simple act of kindness towards Caitlin Clark. Imagine the isolation. She's being told by her own community that she is an outcast for treating Caitlin Clark with basic decency. This goes beyond mere criticism. It's an attempt to break her spirit, to make her feel alienated from her peers and fans. For Caitlin Clark, the situation is equally perilous. She's damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. Caitlin Clark has already publicly spoken out against the harassment black players face. She's defended them. She has shown through her actions that she is an ally. Yet, as the host rightfully points out, for her detractors, it's never enough. No matter what Caitlin Clark says or does, the hatred will persist because it's not about her words. It's about her skin color and her unprecedented popularity.
Look at this. Did aliens nap this girl and scramble her brain? I'm worried. Raven, please. Brain fried. She's trying to survive that racist environment, so lie for the bigots or go home. Or tell the truth and don't go home. Look at this stuff. Raven, we love you, but please don't claim the nameless. Raven, just stay quiet sometimes. I hate to say this. Look, these black people right here. I hate to say this, but Raven is gone.
Look at that comment. Raven is gone. I know you all still have a lot of hope for her, but she has chosen her side. This is the diagnosis of the sickness. The notion that Raven Johnson has to choose a side implies that Caitlin Clark is on the opposing team, not just in basketball, but in a cultural war. This pressure is akin to what previous generations of athletes faced when breaking color barriers, where any black player who was seen as too friendly with white players was ostracized. It's a regressive, dangerous mentality. Raven Johnson is being asked to carry a burden of racial purity that has no place in sports. The expectation that Raven Johnson must hate Caitlin Clark, or at least not publicly support her, is a form of psychological manipulation designed to keep the players divided. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is the lightning rod for this anger. The host notes that if Caitlin Clark remains silent, it's a choice that will be judged. But if she speaks out, as Caitlin Clark has done repeatedly, it's dismissed as performative. The deep analytical breakdown reveals that for Raven Johnson and Caitlin Clark, there is no winning. The toxicity is the goal. The franchise-altering impact of this news is profound. The WNBA is at a crossroads. The league is gaining unprecedented visibility largely thanks to the star power of Caitlin Clark. But with that spotlight comes intense scrutiny. The mob that attacked Raven Johnson for supporting Caitlin Clark represents a significant portion of the fanbase that actively despises the league's biggest draw. This creates a toxic ecosystem where the financial future of the WNBA, which hinges on the commercial success of players like Caitlin Clark, is being actively undermined by a section of its own fans.
Black folks just disowned Raven Johnson all because she simply congratulated Caitlin Clark for being a starter in the WNBA All-Star game. That is disgusting. Some of y'all are the ones that's really racist, for real, for real. I don't mind saying it. Now check this out. Check this out.
Do I think Caitlin should say something? I don't think that she has the responsibility to. I think it's still a lot.
Now, mind you, Caitlin is already...
The climax of this story is the realization that even when Caitlin Clark does the right thing, she is still hated. She spoke out against the fan harassment aimed at black players like Raven Johnson. She has condemned the racist vitriol. She has literally done exactly what the critics demanded. And yet the hatred persists. Why? Because the issue was never Caitlin Clark's silence. The issue is Caitlin Clark herself. The mob resents Caitlin Clark's success, her popularity, her privilege, real or perceived. They will hate Caitlin Clark regardless of her actions. And they will hate any player like Raven Johnson who supports Caitlin Clark. The verdict is clear. Caitlin Clark is a target and Raven Johnson is collateral damage. The black card is a weapon, and Raven Johnson is just the latest casualty in a war that has nothing to do with basketball.